Now, questions are being raised over religious freedom and freedom of expression in South Korea, with human rights advocates calling for proportionality, neutrality, due process, and equal protection of fundamental rights. The advocates say recent measures to protect public order could undermine basic liberties, urging the Korean government to ensure judicial impartiality and uphold international standards.
지저분해서.
일요일까지
아, 자리가 없어서.
양식 그거는 다 채워놓고.
또도 제공되니 참고해 주시기 바랍니다. For those attending online through Zoom, we kindly ask that you may keep your. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to all the members of the domestic and international press, as well as distinguished. 지금부터 국경 없는 인권이 주체하는 대한민국의 종교 및 표현의 자유, 국제적 우려와 시각에 대한 기자회견을 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
With firm commitment to accuracy, every claim we make is grounded in research and, wherever possible, in direct testimony. To questions about proportionality, neutrality, due process, and the equal protection of fundamental rights. We will also examine whether the legal administrative response is fully consistent with international standards. The press conference is not about defending one theology. You as the media and asking necessary questions. Are recent measures protecting public order? Or are some of them undermining basic liberties? France, with more than 2 decades in international human rights advocacy, with a particular focus on freedom of conscience and freedom of religion or belief, and is recognized within the field as an experienced voice on the legal and policy frameworks
on escalating transnational discrimination against Xinjiang. That documents record the joint police prosecutor task force created. These actions related Article 18 of the ICCPR are allowing the state to act as a theological.
Now, since we are running out of time, I would like to close my speech with a final quote from Mr. Young's public post, stating, "All member state remains in the secular sphere."
We urge the Korean government to review the necessity of detaining a frail elderly man, to ensure judicial impartiality, and to base years old man still in detention. One and a judge can be dissolved on the strength of media campaigns. One is taking.
Accusations of violating this electoral law extend beyond what Korean societal discourse, unfortunately, usually describes as violence. This is a very high concern of us. Their freedom to express and practice their faith is enshrined by in ICCPR's Article 18 and 19.
This is not about Chairman Lee or Shin Chong-chi. It is about rules made by the people to serve and protect the people. From an international legal perspective,
religious effects. The permission to use a building as a church is both secular and religious. For the safety of the people, it is necessary that both sides work together and find God in his own way from want and from fear. Yet, can any one of these 4 freedoms truly be realized while the others are ignored? Application of that case law would not lead to complete incapacitation. Dissenting opinions concerning Seventh-day Adventists were issued, and in 2018, Jehovah's Witnesses were acquitted for refusing military service.
Government, and then persecution and violence. This model applies to both totalitarian. Coming to Korea, we see, as in many other countries, the three stages at war. The first stage is intolerance, which is the prevailing depiction in the media of some religious minorities. But there are some especially alarming cases in Korea, and the media may play a role in alleviating the South Italy. There is a law called the Scrutiny law that after 80-year-old you should really have killed somebody to be kept in jail because
이 신천지라는 조직의 특수성을 고려하면은 이 상부의 어떤 단순한 지시라고 하지만은 사실 어떻게 보면 이제 검찰이나 변에서 봤을 때는 이제 강요나 이제 불이익을 받았을 것이라는 의견도 많고 실제로 공소장에 그런 취지로도 규정이 되어 있기도 합니다. 그런데 직접 이 신천지 성도들을 만났을 때 답변은 어땠는지 궁금하고 그 다음에 이 신천지의 정치 참여와 이에 대한 수사를 또 어떻게 평가하는지 좀 잘 부탁드리겠습니다. 신천지 성도들의 어떤 답변이라든지 그런 부분들이 상당히 궁금했고요. 그 다음에 이 신천지의 어떤 정치 참여와
belief concerns and of course freedom of speech concerns. This is extremely important to stress. I hope it was translated appropriately, and I think we can all agree that this is the foundational message of this press conference.
He talked freely, he was energetic, I would say, and full of, I hope this doesn't translate wrongly, full of fire, as in enthusiasm in that sense. So,
have you any message to our deputy? We know they are someone in holidays, but usually when something happens, and for an old man of 95 years old like that, it's something very urgent.
See anything in some cases, and this is one. It's the very same about Unification Church and Shinchonji. Nobody is taking care. I mean, it's also a little bit about cult narratives.
And believe correct and the concern for the special envoy just named a few months ago, a few weeks ago. And also the European Extended Service Action.
The answer from Africa. Can you read for a minute the writer and the question?
what is South Korea doing to protect religious freedom and freedom of expression, and what can other countries learn from?
Japan has very recently dissolved an entire religion that didn't break any laws, the Family Federation. There's been minimal international outcry about this as far as I can see, and we're about, it seems very likely, this government will pass the pending legislation, the so-called church dissolution law. You are talking about this, you're complaining.
But this document was reported in some international media, including your esteemed newspaper.
타인의 자유와 인권이 위협받는 일은 결코 개인이나 특정 종교만의 문제가 아니라 우리 사회 전체의 평화와 상생에 영향을 미치는 일입니다.
신천지가 받고 있는 부당한 차별을 거두어주시고 95세 연로한 6.25 참전유공 용사가 불구속을 속 상태에서 공정한 재판을 받을 수 있도록 힘을 모아주실 것을 부탁드립니다.
And will you also read the statement?
Respectfully submit this statement after visiting and meeting with Chairman Lee Man-hee and related officials on August 6th during the movement. Others have produced monographic studies on its international missionary development in several countries. often rely on polemical accounts by religious opponents who denounce it as heresy, while disregarding the findings of the academic research.
As scholars and, of course, observers of freedom of belief and religion internationally have gathered today to create an awareness event, to raise our voices and to pinpoint the very, I would say, wrong trajectory that Korean social discourse and Korean politics, social politics have taken the past weeks.
300명 정도 전사하신 분들에 대한
In the Xmeri, we have a monument for the victims.
This is proportionality, humanitarian treatment, human rights. I completely understand that, but it also seems that you're saying we're not going to get into the details of the particular allegations against
Shen Yun. But Shen Yun is one case. I mean, the Catholic Sisters of Marie Knoll have been accused of trafficking. Evangelical churches have been accused of trafficking. So we believe that in the United States and in some other countries, particularly in Latin
is that the PRC is actively taking a stance against minority religion.
Yeah, we have documented, I believe I have written in the Washington Times, we normally don't translate Sejao, but we saw the anti-Sejao specialists from Chinese police coming to Korea and standing on the same podium with Korean anti-cultists who are normally
Thank you.